Everyone knew the Sheeks were in love. Stacy seemed to be in love with love itself, and Richard was her fifth husband. Stacy's cousin, Connie, once said, "I don't know why she had so many husbands. When Stacy got bored, it was on to the next." But Connie also believed that Richard was different, the best in Stacy's line of husbands. He even adopted 2 of Stacy's 3 sons. Richard was a great father to them, Connie said. He brought a lot to the table when it came to the marriage. Richard was 46 and had a passion for hot air ballooning, but his greatest love was scouting. He was a den leader for his boys' Cub Scout troop. People described him as outgoing and gregarious, always including everyone in the room. Stacy was the family's breadwinner, working as the head administrator for a large medical and surgical practice in DeKalb County, Georgia. Connie said Stacy would work her butt off to make sure that her kids had everything they wanted and needed. On the last night of Richard's life, he was cooking Valentine's Day dinner. Stacy and her grandparents, an elderly couple needing round-the-clock care, were meant to join him. Stacy and Richard had planned to exchange gifts and cards in a local park. Stacy told Richard to go ahead and meet her there because the nurse relieving her was running late. They both drove separately along the dark, winding road. Richard arrived first, but he wasn't alone. Someone was lurking in the shadows. "It's a very secluded place," Connie explained. "No pavement, no lights, very eerie at night." 30 minutes after Richard arrived, Stacy pulled up and saw his body, riddled with bullets, lying in blood and dirt. The wounds were brutal. 2 shots to the abdomen, 1 to the chest, and 2 to the face. Overkill. The police quickly ruled out robbery. Richard had $40 in his truck console, his watch and wedding ring were on, and his wallet was intact. His $40,000 truck was idling, ready to be taken if robbery was the motive. Lieutenant Dan Franklin, one of the first officers at the scene, said from the start, "Red flags. Something didn't smell right." Richard was unarmed and comfortable enough to get out of his truck and approach someone, which made the over-the-top shooting suspicious. By the time Stacy arrived, the killer was gone. The crime scene offered little physical evidence initially, but the soft, muddy soil held tire impressions. Investigators found 3 sets of tracks: Richard's, Stacy's Ford Explorer, and a third set. The third vehicle had arrived before Richard and left after he was killed. Cops believed those tracks belonged to the killer. Before police could chase down the third vehicle, Stacy shocked them with a confession. "Before we left the scene, she started telling us about an affair she'd been having with a guy named Juan Reyes," Lieutenant Franklin recalled. Stacy was 2-timing Richard with Juan, who worked right in her office as a surgical assistant, despite having no medical experience. Stacy had hired him, and the affair had been going on for years. That immediately made Juan a prime suspect, Franklin said. Juan had been a security guard at a fancy hotel before working at Stacy's clinic. Stacy admitted to police, "I'm in deep with Juan." Stacy was not just his boss, she was his lover. Juan was a divorced father with several kids and financial troubles. Stacy's cousin Connie heard all the details. Stacy showered Juan with gifts, paid for his truck and cell phone, took him on romantic trips, and even let him live in one of her homes. Stacy also had an apartment for her and Juan to meet in private. Juan became suspect number 1. When police interviewed him at his office the day after the murder, they noticed he had shaved off a beard he'd had for 2 weeks. But Juan seemed calm and agreed to speak without a lawyer. He denied everything. "Did you have anything to do with what happened to Richard?" they asked. No, Juan replied. He took a polygraph test, but the results were inconclusive. Police pressed him about his relationship with Stacy. She was providing him with money, a home, and the job. Juan said he was trying to reconcile with his ex-wife and saw Stacy as a means to an end, not a partner. Detectives dug deeper, trying to place Juan the night of Valentine's Day. Juan said he spent the evening with his girlfriend and 7-year-old son, Anthony. They went to the movies around 5 p.m. He and his son went to Blockbuster at about 7:30, then he went to bed by 10:30. Juan's ex-wife confirmed his alibi. She said Stacy was close to the family, even attending holidays and helping with the kids. The ex-wife said Juan was home that night. Despite painful suspicions about the affair, she didn't implicate him. With Juan cleared, investigators moved on. "That's when our first break came," Franklin said. They began to suspect murder for hire. Stacy's grandparents' car, an Impala, went missing from her driveway for weeks, then reappeared. Stacy claimed she sold it to cover their medical expenses, but the money never showed. The Impala was found parked at Lenitra Ross's house, the same Lenitra who worked as a medical assistant at Stacy's clinic. The Impala had Goodyear Integrity tires, matching the tire impressions at the crime scene. Lieutenant Franklin's team searched tire shops and stores until they identified the exact tire brand. Then, a breakthrough came from the clinic's IT technician. While clearing out junk email from Stacy's inbox, he found it empty on the day of the murder, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He had backups and handed them over to police. Investigators obtained warrants and searched through thousands of emails. They found suspicious money transfers days before the murder, $8,900 and $1,100, to Lenitra Ross's personal account. Lenitra, renting a house from Stacy, told police the money was for home repairs and water line fixes. But the timing and amounts raised alarms. Lenitra admitted receiving about $8,900 in total. Stacy's cousin Connie revealed more oddities. The Impala was the grandparents' car, meant to be sold for their medical bills, but the money was never given to them. Now the picture was clearer. The Impala with matching tires, the money transfers, and a man named Reggie in Stacy's contact list. Lieutenant Franklin dug into cell phone records. A phone made a call from Belton Bridge Park, the murder scene, at 8:40 p.m. on February 14th. The call was from a number listed in Stacy's contacts as Reggie, also known as Mr. Results. Reggie was a personal trainer and former semi-pro boxer who held boot camps at Stacy's office. This linked him to the murder, making him the third piece of the triangle. With the evidence mounting, police prepared for arrests. The operation, named Operation Tangled Web, was a coordinated effort involving 7 search warrants in 4 counties and 3 arrest warrants served in one day. Reggie was arrested first. Lenitra was stopped during a traffic stop. Police moved in on Stacy at the clinic, but she fled. Someone inside warned her, and she hid in a secure room that required card access. After a standoff, Stacy surrendered. 3 months after Richard's Valentine's Day murder, all 3 faced intense questioning. Lenitra claimed ignorance. "I don't know why I'm here." Reggie denied involvement. Police believed both were caught up in the murder for money. But why did Stacy want Richard dead? In a stunning revelation, Stacy claimed Richard was molesting her children. She said one of the kids told her, "You don't know what he does when you're not here." Stacy, who said she was molested as a child herself, told Lenitra she didn't want a divorce or police intervention. She just wanted Richard dead. Lenitra supposedly introduced Stacy to Reggie, who does jobs to supplement his income. Stacy said she asked Reggie, "How much cash?" And he quoted $10,000. She agreed and offered her grandparents' Impala as part of the deal. They scouted the park the week before the murder. Reggie called it a perfect place and joked he might use it more often. But the plan went wrong. Stacy wanted it to look like a robbery, but Richard's money, watch, and truck were left untouched. She was angry. The shooting was brutal. 5 shots instead of the 1 planned. Stacy said she didn't want Richard to suffer, but that's not how it happened. As for the molestation claims, Stacy's son later admitted Richard never touched him. He said he blew things out of proportion, Stacy said. The boy explained his complaints were about rules, not abuse. Stacy later admitted the real reason she ordered the hit, fear of losing custody of her kids if she divorced Richard. She believed murder was the only way to live free of him. She was controlling, conniving, manipulative, Franklin said. She used people to get what she wanted. Beyond that, they didn't matter. The district attorney said the trio thought small-town cops couldn't solve the case, but they were wrong. With overwhelming evidence, Stacy and Reggie pleaded guilty to malice murder. Lenitra went to trial and was convicted of the same charge. All 3 will spend the rest of their lives behind bars. Stacy Sheek, the woman who once had 5 husbands, received life without parole. She will never marry again. at least not outside a prison cell.